Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream Sheets and the Percal bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream Queen Size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Percal Queen Size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to MyPillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. MyPillow.com. Promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Welcome in. Here's what we're going to talk about in today's show. Illegal crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border has plummeted, as expected, to a 55-year low in fiscal year 2025. With the vast majority of unlawful attempts to enter the country taking place during the final months of the Joe Biden administration. We have the latest numbers for you in today's show. A New York City weed dispensary is pledging Courier Pigeon delivery service, and the twist is ruffling feathers. Notice the play on words, ruffling feathers. You're going to want to hear this one. Portland, Oregon business owners are sounding the alarm over the city's crime crisis as President Trump faces legal roadblocks in keeping federal troops on the ground to help mitigate the problem. Two business owners appeared on Fox and Friends yesterday saying they welcome President Trump's help. We got a lot to cover. Let's get started.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
Here's a number you don't hear every day. In fact, you probably haven't even heard it. The mainstream media aren't reporting on it. The fact that in more than 5 decades, you haven't heard this number. Illegal border crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border have dropped to their lowest level in 55 years. 55 years. Not since 1970 have we seen so few people caught trying to enter this country illegally. President Trump promised it during the campaign last year. He has delivered in a big way. According to a brand new data report from the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Protection, federal agents apprehended just 237,565 migrants between October 1st, 2024 and September 30th, 2025. Now, notice that date, October 1st, 2024, prior to the election. So some of these are even while Joe Biden had the border open. But that's the full fiscal year. To put that in perspective, during the Biden years, that number averaged around 1.86 million per year. So we went from 1.86 million to 237,000, just over. Wow. That's an 87% drop under Donald Trump's presidency. I mean, that is jaw-dropping, folks. That is a huge turnaround. He said he would do it. I'm just not sure any of us believed he could do it this quickly and to this degree. Here's another key fact. The majority of those arrests, more than 170,000, happened in the first 3 months of the fiscal year. Meaning, still while Joe Biden was in office. Once President Trump was sworn in January, started implementing his policies, illegal crossings plunged like a rock, almost came to a halt overnight. Over the remaining 9 months of the fiscal year under Trump's leadership, border agents caught just 65,000 illegals, roughly 1/4 of the total. Now think about that. From millions of illegal entries under Joe Biden to just a couple 100,000 under Trump. That's not an accident. That's what happens when you have a president who takes border security seriously, who promised he would secure the border, and he actually secured the border. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem put it plainly this week. She was quoted as saying, "We have had the most secure border in American history, and our end-of-year numbers prove it." She's calling this a record-breaking success, saying the administration has empowered and supported law enforcement to do their jobs. And, folks, the results speak for themselves. You agree? Let's not forget what the border looked like just over a year ago. We had caravans of thousands pouring across daily. We had record drug seizures, overwhelmed Border Patrol agents in sanctuary cities begging for relief. Remember New York City's mayor saying this will destroy our city? Remember Chicago, Denver, and L.A. all crying foul after embracing sanctuary status? Now, under Trump's one big beautiful bill, DHS has the funding and the authority to actually enforce immigration law, to secure the border, and deport those here illegally. And they're doing it. They're continuing to work even with the government shutdown. And here's a stunning stat. For the last 5 months straight, not a single migrant caught at the border has been released into the U.S. Now, that's as big of a deal as anything. Not a single one has been given a plane ticket to fly anywhere they wanted to. Not a single one has been offered a nice plush hotel room to stay in. That's the difference between catch and release and catch and deport. Compare that to, again, zero releases under Trump. Zero. Compare that to September of last year when the Biden administration released over 9,000 migrants into the interior with just 1 month, in just 1 month's time. So what changed? Well, first, Trump deployed thousands of troops to the border. A clear message that illegal crossings would no longer be tolerated. And a clear message to those trying to come across, you're going to be caught, and you're not going to like it. It's not going to be a good outcome. Second, he suspended asylum claims that were being abused under Biden's lax policies. No more crossing the border, saying a few magic words, and getting a court date 3 years down the road, and allowed to stay here while you wait. Third, the administration empowered ICE, our wonderful immigration and custom enforcement agents, to do what it was designed to do: arrest and remove illegal migrants inside the country. And get this, ICE is on track to deport 600,000 illegal migrants this year. Another 2 million have voluntarily left since January, seeing the writing on the wall, not wanting to be one of the numbers in a report. That's nearly 3 million people gone in less than a year, proof that enforcement works, proof that the right message is being sent. Now, you might remember how the Biden administration handled things. We had 2.4 million illegal crossings a year, record highs. DHS was handcuffed. Border Patrol agents were babysitting families instead of patrolling the line. And when you reward illegal behavior with free flights, housing, taxpayer-funded benefits, guess what? You get more of it. People, the network goes into action. People tell their friends, their family, and, hey, come on over. The water's fine. President Trump came in. He flipped the script. His message was clear. Our border's not open. You're not welcome illegally. He brought back remain in Mexico, reinstated deportation orders, and cut off funding to sanctuary cities that refused to cooperate. And look what happened. The numbers speak for themselves. Now, let's talk about what this means for the country. When illegal immigration drops, communities are safer. Border states like Texas, Arizona aren't overwhelmed. Schools and hospitals aren't as strained. Fentanyl and human trafficking slow down. It's all good. And law enforcement finally gets to do its job without political interference. This is about national security, public safety, and economic fairness. It's about protecting American workers and ensuring that those who come here do so legally and lawfully. And it's a reminder that leadership like President Trump matters. It's a reminder that it can be done. Joe Biden did not want to do it, and he proved it by not doing it. But President Trump said last year during the campaign that it could be easily accomplished, and he has proven that to be the case. For years, we were told that securing the border was impossible. Just can't do it. Joe Biden, it's just too big of a task, too costly. Well, somehow, Donald Trump figured out how to do it very easily. This administration just proved the opposite. When you enforce the law, when you back your officers, when you send a clear message that illegal entry won't be tolerated, the numbers drastically stop. They decline. Do you think this proves Trump's approach works? Should we double down with even stricter enforcement? Or do you worry that this could be temporary, that we'll see another surge if politics shift again? And let's be honest, this is also a political victory for Donald Trump and those conservatives who helped him, who supported him, who helped implement this, members of Congress who approved the funding. Democrats are stuck fighting over Obamacare subsidies and government shutdowns. This administration is delivering on results, and I got to believe our chances are good in the midterms. Let's be honest, those summer vacations and backyard barbecues added some extra pounds, right? But instead of feeling guilty or falling further behind, it's time to reset, drop the weight, and get back in control. The solution isn't a shot. Real lasting weight loss starts with your mind, not your mouth. At PhD Weight Loss, Dr. Ashley Lucas and her team help you uncover the real reasons behind your weight gain so that you can reprogram the way you think about food forever. PhD clients lose up to a third of their body weight without ever taking a drug. I know because I lost 33 pounds with PhD weight loss. Through real food, behavioral coaching, and proven science, your body can become a natural fat-burning machine. Why risk spending thousands on shots that strip away muscle, come with dangerous side effects, and leave most people regaining 60% of the weight within a year? With PhD, you'll activate your body's natural appetite control, burn fat safely, and stay in control. Even if you're already on Ozempic, PhD can help you transition off while still losing weight. Take the first step today. Call 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com. Yesterday's show, I talked with you about a new study that shows that nearly half of traffic fatalities are caused by someone high on marijuana. There's a push, of course, all around the country to broaden the availability of marijuana dispensaries. And there's currently bills in the South Carolina legislature that would legalize medical marijuana in South Carolina. Well, it appears that some people are so anxious to have weak, easily available marijuana laws that they'll believe anything. There's a funny story out of New York written and published by the New York Post. I want to read excerpts from it. The headline is, "It's a bird-brained marketing campaign." A Lux Big Apple-based cannabis dispensary announced that it would be launching a fleet. You ready for this? A fleet of 20 courier pigeons to deliver gram-sized bags of marijuana to New Yorkers. But the feathered service is totally phony, according to the Post. But this went on for days, and people believed it. The travel agency, which was the group that was promoting this, unveiled the winged delivery service purportedly set to launch in Manhattan and Brooklyn by 2026. They launched this campaign last week, including a slew of videos posted to social media. Arana Hankin-Biggers, the supposedly company co-founder, said in a release last Friday, "As the travel agency, it's only natural we'd explore all modalities of travel for our delivery service, even pigeons. Being in New York City, we thought there's no better courier than the ever-present and beloved pigeon." Viral videos, very nice, highly produced videos from the agency spotlighted the alleged feathery fleet's downtown Brooklyn coup, as well as its handlers and training protocols, which entailed walking a pigeon on the delivery path so it knows where to fly. And people were buying this. People were excited about this because they could just see a pigeon landing on their deck with a little pouch of marijuana. Promotional posters outside of the company's Union Square shop also advertised cannabis carrier pigeons, and one viral clip posted to the What is New York account showed pigeons wearing tiny backpacks near a dispensary location, appearing to confirm the presence of the working birds. Several New York-based publications, according to the New York Post, Time Out, Brooklyn Eagle, and Fox 5 New York reported on the plan. They believed it. They excitedly reported that this was coming to New York. Now, it gets even better, though. It's good enough that you've got people falling for this harebrained idea that homing pigeons were going to be delivering their marijuana. But get this, animal activists were not laughing. They were alleging that the company was exploiting the birds in the ads, even if they weren't being recruited for deliveries. Now, sources familiar with the matter revealed to the New York Post yesterday that the bizarre scheme was actually a marketing stunt. But that didn't stop the animal activists. They still had their feathers ruffled over this phony ad campaign, which promoted a multi-day trial run with pigeons completing symbolic delivery routes under handler supervision and earning an official humane treatment certification. I'm glad to know that it's not real, but it's still very upsetting to even conceptualize a campaign like this centering on exploiting pigeons, said Megan Walton of Dutchess County-based Pigeons for Miles Avian Sanctuary. Walton said the gimmick left her questioning what was real and what was chicken scratch. She said, even if it was a joke, how long were these pigeons subject to this campaign? How many days were they taken away from their family flock to be used for this, she said. She's dead serious about this. Megan Walton said, I'm glad to know that it's not real, but it's still very upsetting to even conceptualize this. She said she was also concerned about where the pigeons came from and what happened to them after the campaign was over, calling to mind cases such as the adorable rabbits abandoned after disgraced false heiress Anna Delvey's August photo shoot. She said, I don't see the humor in putting pigeons in the center of a campaign like this to almost mock the fact that they used to be so heavily exploited. They were fed well. She wrapped up by saying people don't even really pay them any mind anymore except to think about other ways to exploit them. Now, who is out there just literally thinking about how can we exploit pigeons? The travel agency said in a statement, quote, animal welfare was a top priority throughout production of this campaign. Every shot was planned in consultation with the pigeons' handlers, their owners, and an SOS safety on set's animal service representatives who advised the director and crew on the safest approach. Now, I don't know if safety on set's animal services, if that's even legit. It sounds good, doesn't it? The travel agency worked exclusively with licensed professionals to receive HATD humane animal treatment documentation, confirming humane oversight at every step. Folks, do you find this as funny as I do? First off, that people believe the actual campaign. They believe pigeons are going to be flying around New York delivering marijuana. But then the animal activists, they jump on it too. They believe it too. They fall hook, line, and sinker, and they're out there trying to protect the pigeons. It doesn't get any better than that. On one side, you've got the extremists who want the marijuana. They welcome the idea of it being delivered right to their window by a carrier pigeon. And then you have the animal activists out there salivating because, they're going to protect the pigeons. They're exploiting these pigeons. And when they find out that they are the butt end of a joke, they still want to protect the pigeons during the process of the videotaping. People are just nuts, aren't they? Or maybe gullible. Maybe I should say people are gullible. What do you think? Carrier pigeons delivering marijuana? Send me a quick text. Email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. Leave me a message on the MyPillow message line. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Always use promo code Joey when you go to mypillow.com and get the very best deal Mike Lindell has to offer you. And boy, does he have some good deals right now on the 6-piece towel set. Normally $69.98. You can get it for $39.98 when you use promo code Joey when you go to mypillow.com. Some news out of Nashville. Country music icon Dolly Parton is receiving an outpouring of support and prayers this week, led by her sister, as she recovers from ongoing health issues that forced her to postpone her Las Vegas residency. Yesterday, in a Facebook post, Frida Pardon, one of Dolly Parton's younger sisters, asked fans around the world to join her in prayer, saying, "Many of you know she hasn't been feeling her best lately. I was up all night praying for my sister, Dolly. I know in my heart she's going to be just fine." The 79-year-old singer, Jolene, 9 to 5 actress, announced last week that she would be postponing 6 upcoming performances scheduled for later this year at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Dolly shared in a heartfelt message that her doctors advised her to undergo, quote, a few procedures, and that she needed time to heal and prepare properly for the show fans to perform the way that they deserve to have her perform. Parton said with her trademark humor, "It must be time for my 100,000-mile checkup, although it's not the usual trip to see my plastic surgeon." She emphasized that she isn't stepping away from music, saying God hasn't said anything about stopping yet. The rescheduled shows are expected to take place in September of next year. Now, this isn't the first event that the beloved performer has missed recently due to her health. Earlier in September, Miss Pardon skipped a special appearance at Dollywood celebrating the opening of a new roller coaster. In a video message that day to park visitors, she revealed that she was recovering from a kidney stone and infection. Doctors had ordered her to rest. This all comes just months after the death of her husband of nearly 60 years, Carl Thomas Dean, who passed away back in the spring in March at the age of 82. Friends close to the singer say the loss has weighed heavily on her, as you can imagine. For now, fans and family are rallying behind this country legend with prayers and support, echoing her sister's sentiment that she's strong, she's loved, and with all the prayers being lifted, she'll be just fine. So say a prayer for Dolly. Let's talk about Portland, Oregon. This nightmare will just not go away. Well, once one of America's trendiest, most livable cities, now it's a symbol of what happens when progressive leadership lets law and order slip away. And boy, have they let it slip away. Yesterday, frustrated business owners sounded the alarm again, begging for help as the city's crime crisis spirals out of control. And now, with President Trump's deployment of federal troops facing legal challenges, a liberal judge saying that he can't do it, folks on the ground, business owners, are saying, if not now, when? We need help now. One of those voices, Amy Nichols, a small business owner who's been robbed 10 times. She told Fox and Friends yesterday she's desperate for help. She believes the National Guard could finally bring some peace to her area.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, yesterday morning, I was broken again for the 10th time. I will say that the police responded very quickly, which was better ticket times as far as getting them to the site quicker. So that was very helpful.
Wow. How do you feel about National Guard in Portland? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
We need help here and something needs to be done. So if this is what we need to do to get our leaders paying attention to what's happening in Portland, then I think it's a good thing. We've been struggling for a long time, since 2020, and it's really difficult to do business in downtown Portland, and we need all the help we can get. And if this creates a little bit of peace in our city and shows that there really is some issues happening, then I think that it's for the best.
Of course, she was answering the question of whether or not she thought that, or would she welcome President Trump's help sending federal troops. Now think about that. The law-abiding business owners literally begging for the National Guard just to feel safe enough to keep her doors open. But yet, local officials are critical of the president. Local officials and her state sued the president and the DOJ to keep the federal officers out of the city. She says it's been downhill since 2020 with riots, vandalism, unchecked homelessness, open-air drug use, and a city government that seems more concerned about optics than restoring order. She's not alone. Another Portland local, Loretta Guzman, owns Bison Coffee House. She, too, says that they need some help.
I think it maybe just for the federal buildings. I mean, it's not like they're going to be on the streets where it'll make a difference for us as far as businesses. I don't think it'll affect us. I mean, our businesses, we already struggle every day, every week with the crime and the drugs and, just the unsafeness that comes with being here in our city right now. It's like our leaders have abandoned public safety for us.
And that's exactly right. The leaders have abandoned public safety in order to allow these protesters to continue because they believe that it's just a matter of freedom of speech. This lady told Fox News she's already installing bulletproof glass after repeated break-ins. Crime didn't just hit her business, it came straight to her doorstep, and it's threatening her safety. One night, she said that she was lying in bed when she heard gunfire. Moments later, her nephew's girlfriend knocked on the door to tell her that he had been shot. She called 911, no answer. Tried again, got a recording. Can you imagine in a life and death emergency, no one answers the phone? You get an answering machine? Loretta ran outside to find her nephew bleeding in his car. She tried to lift him, but at 240 pounds, she couldn't do it alone. So she ended up dying. She said he ended up dying with me praying for him. Now imagine that. Your loved one dies in your arms because you can't get a response from 911. Folks, that is a tragedy no family should ever experience, and it's happening in a major American city, a city where leadership has chosen politics over safety and protection. Now you've got federal agents, DHS, Border Patrol, even ICE officers stationed downtown Portland trying to keep protesters away from federal buildings, but the local government, they're pushing back. They don't like it. They don't like the federal officers in their city. Same thing in Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson and others in other blue cities declaring ICE-free zones. Chicago mayor yesterday signed an executive order basically banning any federal agents from using public Chicago public sites. Meanwhile, people who pay the taxes, who create jobs, who just want to feel safe, walk into their cars, they're left behind. They're totally ignored. I mean, let's be honest. This is what happens when lawlessness is normalized. For years, Portland has been the testing ground for progressive experiments. Defund the police, no cash bail, sanctuary policies, open drug markets. And the result? Businesses are fleeing. But you have some people like these two ladies who feel like they're stuck. Their life's been there. Their home's there. Their family's there. They don't want to leave. They just want to be able to run their businesses and support their families. Families are scared. People like Amy and Loretta are losing faith that their leaders even care. And that's why they're desperate for President Trump to be able to help them, to send the troops in, to send the federal troops in to do things that their local police officers just simply aren't going to do. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Firmin Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Firmin Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Firmin Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Firmin, Matthew Firmin. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Firmin Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Firmin Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Firmin Ford online at firminford.com, firminford.com. So while we're talking about immigration and local officials, Democrat officials, pushing back on President Trump sending for help, let's revisit what's happening in Chicago. Now, let's back up a bit. Last week, President Trump said he's also going to send federal troops to Chicago, particularly after this past weekend when federal agents were surrounded by a group of thugs, gang members, and were being detained themselves, and Chicago police wouldn't help. Chicago police were told to stand down, not to help a fellow officer. Well, here's the latest on this ongoing immigration showdown. Texas National Guard troops were reportedly in Illinois, on the ground in Illinois yesterday. Of course, they're there for President Trump, tasked with protecting federal property and personnel as anti-immigration protests heat up in the Windy City. Now, this is part of President Trump's federal protection mission, and the Pentagon confirmed yesterday that 200 troops are now on the ground, mobilized for at least 60 days. Their job to make sure that federal agents, especially those from ICE and Homeland Security, can safely do their jobs in the face of escalating hostility. Now, how crazy is it? How sad is it that we have to send troops, National Guard troops from another state, into Illinois to protect federal officers that are just doing their job? Let's think about that for a moment, because this story is about a lot more than just one protest. It's about law and order. It's about federal authority and a deep divide between Washington and liberal city leaders who say they don't need the help and don't want the help, even when their cities are chaotic, when chaos is right outside of their door. Protesters have surrounded an ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. Tensions, of course, as I mentioned, boiled over when federal agents were boxed in by cars. Some were even rammed by vehicles. Stories of these gangs literally putting bounties on federal agents' heads. We're talking about serious confrontations, dangerous, violent incidents targeting law enforcement officers whose job is to enforce federal immigration law. That prompted DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to call in reinforcements, not just agents, but special operations units, and now the National Guard. Fox News cameras caught the Guard arriving at an Army Reserve Center in Elwood, Illinois. That's just south of Joliet, Illinois. They're fully deployed, uniforms, equipment, vehicles, ready to defend federal facilities and federal workers. Texas Governor Greg Abbott confirmed his state's Guard is leading the mission. He posted on X saying, "They're putting America first, ensuring that the federal government can safely enforce federal law." Abbott, as you know, has been one of President Trump's strongest allies in the immigration fight, as he's had to be. He's seen it firsthand in his state. Now he's sending his troops across state lines to a blue state like Illinois, where local leaders refuse to cooperate. Not everyone's happy, as you can imagine. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, a progressive Democrat, held a press conference blasting the deployment. He called it illegal, unconstitutional, dangerous, and wrong. He even signed an executive order creating ICE-free zones. That means federal immigration agents can't use city-owned property for their operations. In other words, no staging areas, no temporary command posts, not even parking lots. Mayor Johnson said, and let me quote, "The Trump administration must end this war on Chicago. They must end this war on Americans. They must end their attempt to dismantle our democracy." What is he talking about? When he has gang members, illegal immigrants, forming gangs in his city, are they not attacking Chicago? Are they not trying to dismantle democracy, literally? Now, friends, think about that for a second. The mayor of a major U.S. city accusing the federal government of waging war, not on criminals, not on cartels, but on his city for trying to enforce the federal immigration law. That's how divided our country has become over immigration. And I just frankly can't understand it. I can't wrap my mind around how even a liberal, progressive mayor like Brandon Johnson would not want to enforce our immigration law. How even this guy would want these hoodlums, these gangs in his city. Wouldn't you welcome the help of federal law enforcement? Wouldn't you just welcome them with open arms if they were coming into your city to try to make it safe, to do your job? Meanwhile, the activist groups are mobilizing too. A coalition called CATA, C-A-T-A, Coalition Against the Trump Agenda, is organizing protests across Chicago. One of their spokesmen, Atim Abdullah, said this: "The Guard has been sent to join ICE in wreaking havoc and terrorizing our neighborhoods. We will continue to resist, unified across race and class and nationality, and they will never break us down." Wonder how he feels about those Mexican illegals over the weekend ramming the federal officers' cars, encircling them, not allowing them to move. Wonder how he feels about that. Wonder how he'd feel if they did that to him. Now that very language, he says that they're protesting, that they're peacefully protesting. That's not the language of a peaceful protest. That's resistance rhetoric, language that paints law enforcement as the enemy and portrays illegal immigration as a noble cause. Here's the reality, though. Federal agents have a duty to protect Americans. They have a duty to remove criminal aliens and uphold immigration law. And when you have mobs surrounding ICE facilities, when you have illegal gangs blocking roads and ramming federal vehicles, that's not resistance. That's anarchy. This move by President Trump, deploying the Guard, it's not just about Chicago. It's a broader signal to everyone that the days of sanctuary city immunity are over, that the days of you being able to just run loose and create chaos in a city of your choice is over, that if the city's not going to stop you, the federal government will. Trump made it clear. If local officials won't protect federal property, if they won't protect their own citizens, then he'll send troops in who will. And let's be honest, Illinois leadership hasn't exactly inspired confidence, have they? Governor Pritzker, Mayor Johnson, it appears that they'd rather have an invasion than to push back and protect their own citizens. And boy, that's just a sad, sad day for any city. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.